Colette McVeigh, mother, daughter, sister, spy. We are the Spy-Fi guys, and this is Shadow Dancer.
Welcome to the Spy-Fi guys.
So I apologize to the universe for that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Justice for Dennis M.
Is it though?
I laughed and then I hated myself for laughing.
Welcome to the Spy-Fi guys, where we cover spy facts, spy fiction, and everything in between. I'm Christian.
And I'm Zach.
And today we have Shadow Dancer from 2012.
A movie you've definitely heard of course.
Hey, some of our most fun and interesting ones are the ones a lot of people haven't heard of. Although this is one of the ones where we're very, very finely stretching the definition of spy movie. This is definitely a spy movie.
It is. Now, here on the Spy-Fi guys, we typically jump back and forth between based on a true story and totally absurdly over-the-top fictional. Mm-hmm. This time, we were looking for something that's based on a true story. This movie isn't quite there, but that's okay.
I was wondering, because I realized as I was reviewing my notes, wait a minute, I didn't see a based on a true story at the beginning of this. Is this not a true story, Zach?
Well, it somehow ended up in our list of non-fiction movies, and I didn't put it there.
I didn't put it here.
I don't know how to explain it.
Okay.
But certainly there's elements of it that are based in truth, which I appreciate.
Yeah, and it is quite the change from our dead drop not earlier this month, Section 31.
Yes, it is. That is definitely true.
All right, so shall we get into it?
Well, actually, really quick, do you want to explain how we ended up picking this movie?
Because it was available on streaming?
There was that, but I was looking at the list and I saw Ireland and I saw Clive Owen and I saw Gillian Anderson.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Actually, we've had a decent amount of Irish film. I probably have learned more about the conflict in Northern Ireland than I ever would have before this podcast started.
That's right. That's because I'm into Irish stuff, as longtime listeners may remember, especially Irish music. More about that later.
I've become, especially since my, trip to Ireland, I've become more interested in it and, and fond of Irish music as well.
Plot synopsis.
All right, so with that being said, let's get started here with our plot synopses. As always, spoilers begin right here, right now. And first is our haiku. Single Irish mom plays both sides, comes out on top. A triple agent.
Oh. Pretty good.
Thank you. And then the haiku over, here comes our limerick. There once was an agent called Mac who foiled a terror attack. He combs through the files, puts Colette through some trials before he got stabbed in the back. Too soon? And then, of course, here's the real IMDb plot summary. Set in 1990s Belfast, an active member of the IRA becomes an informant for MI5 in order to protect her son's welfare. Oh yeah, her son, who's in the movie so much. Remember how?
I do, actually.
So, Christian, would you say it's safe to say that this is almost a made-for-TV movie, not unlike The Seventh Protocol? Seems very independent.
You mean The Fourth Protocol?
Yes. And its sequel to Seventh Protocol.
I would argue that, no. It's not a big-budget movie, but just because it's big budget doesn't mean it's a made-for-TV movie. There was something about The Fourth Protocol that made it feel made-for-TV. This still feels like a movie that was made to be seen in cinemas. It was not a movie of the week kind of deal.
Right, but it's definitely an independent foreign movie.
Maybe. Sure, that doesn't make it made for TV. There's a big difference between those two things.
Yeah, fair enough.
So we start in Belfast, 1973, where a father asks his daughter Colette to go get some cigarettes.
And it's slow. The movie is slow right away.
It's a slow burn.
But I feel like there's tension here. Because
Oh, yes.
They wait long enough for you to realize that the kid has a big old death flag on him. Did you see it coming, Christian?
Well, okay, but it's not even that. So Colette she tries to pawn the task off on her brother. As soon as he walks out, I'm like, uh-oh, something's not right here. And they're like, noises outside. And then we see emotion, and then we hear the brother being brought in, and he's been shot. And in my notes, I said, Zach, why are you making me watch this?
Making you? How was I supposed to know?
I don't know. There's a kid being shot in this film. Why are you making me watch this, Zach?
No, you can blame the mystery ghost person who put it on our movie list and no one knows what it is or how it got there. But actually, Christian, you know what this reminded me of was the beginning of Dawn of the Dead.
Wait, the original or the
the Zack Snyder one.
I've never seen either, so I don't know why I've not bothered to specify.
Well, what about Shaun of the Dead?
I have seen Shaun of the Dead, yes.
So do you remember when he's like going through his day and you see on the news something's up?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit like that too, where the girl is making the tea kettle and you hear someone yelling in the background and someone runs by. I thought if this was an American movie, they would have had a car bomb go off on the street and her whole front window gets blown in.
So like the beginning of The Untouchables.
Yes, that's a movie I've seen, but I don't remember a whole lot about it.
Yeah, there's a big scene at the beginning where a kid gets blown up. Not just the kid, the entire place that was not buying protection from Al Capone anymore got blown up. So,
okay. So the dad blames Colette, which is an interesting guilt. But do you think also, again, spoilers, knowing what we know at the end of the movie, that it provided a motivation for Ma to become an informant?
I can see that, yeah.
Because at least in my memory, they don't say who actually killed the brother. Which side?
Yeah. I think it just violence in general, which is,
Yeah, does it matter?
Exactly. So we cut forward 20 years to London, 1993. We're in a tube station. In my notes, I'm like, is this older Colette? I assume it is, because why would they just introduce that character? But we don't actually know.
She looks a lot like the kid, Colette. I did a good job with that.
Okay. But she's looking around a lot. She seems very suspicious. She gets off the tube at a station and goes down the service entrance, and we hear overhead...
I'm sorry to interrupt, Christian. Again. It's slow. It takes you like 15 minutes to go on this train ride.
I felt the tension, though, because you don't know what's going on. I mean, you know that this is still during the Troubles, and...
That's right. And something I appreciate is that the movie has tense scenes without the need to have the tense music. Like that...
For some reason, when I started watching this, I thought this was filmed in early 2000s or late 90s. It's 2012. And she goes through a service entrance, and we hear that the station is being evacuated due to an emergency.
Yep. Again, nice, subtle use of a variety of ways to communicate information to the audience.
Running up some inside stairways. Again, she's trying to get to the outside. And as soon as she does, men come up behind her and drag her to her car.
That's right. Yeah, it gets caught immediately.
Yep. And they bring her into a service entrance of a hotel and up a service elevator. And now this is all silent up to this point. There's no words other than the service announcement. And we see Clive Owen in a hotel room who's looking at surveillance photos in a big file.
Yep. And I like the visuals where his room is all... Was it red? And her room is all blue. So it makes it seem like they were in two very different rooms, but they're just right next to each other, as it turns out.
Yeah, we're not told until a bit later that this is actually Colette. But she's brought to the hotel room, like you said, next door to Clive Owen. Hands over a file, says it won't give her what she wants, but it might help. And he leaves to go to another room where the men who brought her in are. So she goes, sits next to the folder, doesn't open it, and all the guys are watching through CCTV, and this could take a while. But finally, she opens a file, and it's pictures of her brother's corpse.
So I thought the movie was going to be about her tracking down her brother's killers. Turns out it's not about that at all.
And there's details on the type of bullet that killed him, and the caliber. Clive Owen comes back into the room. He's got a giant folder. Shows her a photo of a man who she used to work for in a print factory who died. And apparently she went to the funeral.
Right. I'm sorry if I'm jumping ahead, but doesn't he know all this personal information about her?
Yeah, he knows that too. That's the first thing that he uses to plant that seed.
Wouldn't you say he knows what she eats for breakfast?
Probably.
Do you understand that reference?
I do.
Okay.
She says she wants a lawyer. He shows her a video, her playing with her son. Dun, dun, and then lays out how hard it will be for her son to see her, and it'll basically kill his spirit to have to take 90 minutes every weekend to see his mother for an hour.
That's right. Doesn't he also say at this point, I wasn't sure if I missed it, I couldn't get the subtitles working for the beginning, he said you never even set the timer on the purse bomb.
Oh, I didn't catch that. No.
I think he was trying to make the case, you're not really a hardcore IRA supporter. You don't really want to help them, right?
Right. I think you're right, because, I was trying to figure out what's going on in the beginning. She set the bomb, but I think you're right that
So do you think that they know about her because of Ma? Now that we know how the movie ends?
I
How
don't
else could they
know.
have picked her up so quickly?
I mean, because they're probably monitoring her entire family.
No,
'Cause
I
they know her
mean, like
brother.
after she dropped the purse.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
Clive Owen says that her brother's killed a lot of people last year and tries to convince her to talk to the Brits.
That's right. To become an informant, which was
Yeah.
very common in the Troubles.
Or a tout, as it was known in this
as
movie.
we learned in this movie.
Yeah. So Clive Owen leaves the room, was watching her on the CCTV. She's still sitting at the table. He goes back into the room and says they'll never know. He'll be watching. He's done this before. And she agrees, and they go into a car. He gives her the phone number to call, and her cover, she's supposed to always ask for Declan.
That's right.
Her cover is that she has a new boyfriend. And they also give her an emergency beeper, which basically all hell will break loose, and they'll come for her if she presses that button.
We talk about a Chekhov's beeper. Well, they call it a bleeper, which is kind of funny. I don't know if there's a British term for it or something. But she never uses it.
No.
The whole movie.
Well, it becomes more of a, is she able to keep that hidden kind of deal?
Yeah, exactly.
So she asks for his real name, and he's like, it's better if you don't know. If I'm risking my life, I want to know your name. And it's Mac.
Right, yeah, that sounds like a real name. Sure.
Well, everyone else in his department, department calls him that as well.
Yep.
So it seems to be his real name.
Seems legit, yeah.
And then gives her a rendezvous point and when to meet. So we see Colette on the train back home. She gets to see her son. He's mad at her for being away so long and doesn't want to see her.
That's right.
Her brothers come in later that day, and then there's
Her brothers.
Yeah.
Known actors. This is an all-star cast.
On the news, there's reports about peace talks.
Are you not going to say who their brothers are? Who her brothers are?
I'm getting to it. Actually, brother Jerry, I didn't recognize until the end of the movie. Holy shit, is that Littlefinger?
Yeah, that's right.
I have it in my notes. Once I realized, like, oh, wait, that's Littlefinger.
That's right.
But yeah, Jerry asks what happened to her. She says she was being followed but managed to lose them. Jerry says that you need to talk to Kevin, who's going to enforce her.
Yeah.
And then we meet her other brother, Connor. I'm like, wait, that's General Hux.
That's right. Boy.
/ Bill Weasley.
Yeah, that's right. He's been around for a
Gleason
while.
himself. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So now her brother Connor offers her a part of a new job. The cop who tried to get them after they took out the aforementioned boss at the printer.
That's right.
Yeah. So we see Mac arrive in Northern Ireland via chopper.
Yeah, they must have blown half the movie's budget on this one chopper shot. Because it's one of those double-bladed ones. It also made me think of course, I'm sure I talked about it before the book National Security Cinema, where the U.S. military provides free equipment and personnel and things for movies that make them look good.
Yeah.
I don't know if the British do the same. I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know. Good question. From there, he takes a car into a guarded area. They get the car inspection with the mirrors underneath the car.
Right.
And this is his office. And we meet Gillian Anderson, his boss, who I don't remember her name.
I feel like it's Nancy or something like that. She's in the movie for about 15 minutes.
Yeah. So she congratulates him. I just have her as Gillian Anderson in my notes this whole
Yeah,
time.
that's right.
But she also knows that Colette will have to see Kevin, so that hopefully she holds up under that.
Yep, that's right.
They all know that Kevin's the enforcer. Even on the Brit side, they know that he's the one that they really have to pass. So Colette goes to drop off her kid at school, and Mac is driving to the rendezvous point.
Yeah, in a seaside, which apparently no one ever goes to, except for them.
Right?
So they really don't exactly blend in. Just a thought.
Yeah. So Connor was supposed to fix something in the house, but apparently it didn't, so Colette and her mom are complaining about it. And Mac is waiting for Colette, but realizes she's not coming.
That's right. So he has to do something else to get her attention, apparently.
Yep. And Colette's at home. She sees that she has a visitor. It's Kevin, but they need to talk.
Yeah, and Kevin is not a famous actor, unfortunately.
No. Not at least not to us.
Not that we know.
No. So some cops burst into their house early in the morning, start tearing apart her room, take Colette. She's put into a holding cell where Mac comes to see her.
That's right. Well, and the cops are mean to her, so you get to see a little bit of where the IRA are coming from in this one part. The movie's not really very political, despite the subject matter.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting.
Mm-hmm. So, gives her a minute to give them any information that she might have picked up while in the day she's been home.
Yeah, that's right. And she does this thing that's very frustrating to watch as an audience member in movies. So let's say the code is 1, 2, 3, 4. What's the code? And the character stares at them for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
What's the code I said? We're all about to die. What's 1, 2, 3, 4? Oh, thank goodness. Why are you staring off into the distance? I think the idea is the character's supposed to be having some kind of existential crisis, but since we're not in their head, instead we just yell at the screen. You know what I'm talking about?
I know there are cases where that is... I felt that. I didn't feel that here. I mean... She genuinely feels conflicted, and so, to me at least. So I was not frustrated by this.
That's good. But yeah, this is her last chance. And they do the cliche where when he's about to walk out the door, she finally says something.
That was pretty cliched, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she gives him intel on the job tomorrow about the cop who tried to put them away, but she doesn't really know too much. She just knows that there's going to be a job.
Yeah, an attack tomorrow.
Yeah. Now... After she gets home, we see that Colette's son has wet his bed because he's having nightmares.
Yeah, a bunch of cops just came through his door. I'm not surprised.
And after all this, Colette's mom wants her to tell Jerry that she's had enough.
Yeah, that's right. Her mom wants her to get out of the business.
Yep.
And I must say, Christian, there never comes a point in this movie where you feel like Colette is really that dedicated to the cause.
To the cause of the IRA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or really any cause, for that matter. Unless she keeps it all buried deep down.
I'll give you that. No, she doesn't. I buy that she's doing this, but I don't buy that she's dyed in the wool IRA supporter.
Which apparently she is. We learn later in the movie. Yeah. I don't know.
Let's put a pin in that and come back. I want to analyze that.
Okay, that's fine.
So Mac is writing up a report about the meeting with Colette. And one of his colleagues gets called into a last-minute CCG meeting. Do you know what that stands for?
CCG, Customizable Card Game. I don't know what it means.
I don't either. I was trying to look it up, but I didn't quite see.
We're able to find it.
Civil Contingencies Group, maybe?
No, that doesn't sound right.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways,
do you also like the old computer? Do you also like the old computers in his office?
I did. Yeah, that was nice. Nice touch. But yeah, the meeting is invitation only, and Mac wasn't invited. But he bursts into the meeting anyways and finds out that they're going to send in the SAS after Connor McVeigh, who is General Hux.
That's right.
And they're going to blow Colette's cover.
Yes. Which, again, I don't know how many spy technologies you come up with or how much time passes. The problem always remains if there's 3 people who know about a job and the job gets blown, only one of the 3 could possibly know about it. And there's really no way around it.
Yep. Mac tries to put a pause on that operation through London, but they said, no, we've already talked to them and they've agreed.
That's right.
So the next morning, Connor wakes up Colette, and apparently one of the men was picked up by the cops, so they need her as another body on the job.
And boy, is she enthusiastic about it.
Right. So they drive to where they're going to do the job. They're waiting at a safe house.
Yeah, and this part with the safe house is, again, slow, but has good tension. We're all just kind of staring at each other, watching the minutes tick by.
Colette goes to use the phone in one of the other rooms, asks to speak to Declan, and one of the other members of the team, Brendan, goes looking for her.
Yeah, again, good tension is scary. It's so scary. Do you think she just couldn't hear him calling for her? And that's why she doesn't respond?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we see her hang up the phone as she comes in the door.
That's right. And he definitely seems suspicious of her.
Oh, yeah.
When she's like, no, I'm fine. Everything's good. How are you?
So they go to drive over to the cop's house. They see a white van in front of them.
Oh my god, this is the best part of the movie.
There's a car in the driveway where we see some guy in it taking something out of his car.
Well, it was, what do you call the things you carry babies in? The hard plastic one. It's not a stroller.
A car seat.
Well, it's a car seat, but it has a big handle on it.
Yeah, that's the car seat. That's an infant car seat.
An infant car seat, yeah. Oh my God, there's a baby in there, maybe.
Brendan puts a gun in his waistband and gives Colette a mask. He said, "You're coming with me too."
Yep.
So they go put their masks on. They walk over, and as
again,
they
sorry to interrupt. Again, there's no music. There's not even really any ambient sound. It's just them walking around. You see a guy walking off in the distance. And you're like, is he a cop? Oh my God, what's going to happen?
Now, this surprised me. Once they get close enough, Brendan gets shot.
Yeah, but what did you think was going to happen?
I thought he was going to shoot the guy. I didn't think he was going to get killed.
Yeah, I thought the guy they were coming after was going to turn around with a gun and shoot him. Something that gives them some kind of plausible deniability that they didn't know that they were coming, but I guess they were willing to take a chance. But it's also quick. They're like, wait, because I hear the gunshot and I thought Brendan had done the shot, but no, he's the one who falls down. Like, oh, what? Yeah, this is great. So then it turns into Grand Theft Auto, where Colette has to run away through a suburban backyard.
Yeah, through the house of the person, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And Christian, did you notice that she runs very slowly?
I did not notice that, no.
If you're so inclined to go back and watch it, it's a mild jog.
But yeah, she does actually manage to escape, gets back home, and she's crying at the kitchen table.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Now, Mac gets a call about the shooting. We find out that the shooter, Brendan, is touch and go. He may or may not make it.
So, Christian, I'm trying to remember. Okay. I recently watched a movie. I think it was an Indian movie where some guy had a secret.
Okay.
And he was in the hospital. And the hero, or maybe the villain, couldn't let him survive because then he would tell the truth to go to the fuzz.
Okay.
Something like that. So it was like this again. And that's what I thought was going to happen with Colette. I thought she was going to go to the hospital and somehow try to get this guy killed. Turns out it's even worse than that.
Yeah. Mac is, trying to find all the information about the shooting. Says that there's no word about Colette, although he uses her code name, which I don't remember. Do you remember what her code name was?
No, I don't remember.
I should have written that down, but I forgot. But then Mac sees someone come out of Gillian Anderson's office.
Right. So something's up.
At the end of the day, Mac's still there, so is Gillian Anderson. So he goes over and asks what that meeting was all about, but she gives him like, relax, we're all on the same side. Don't worry about it. And she says it in a way that makes it sound like they're really not all on the same side. Yeah. It's really not very convincing. So Colette calls Mac, asks for Declan, and says that Brendan overheard them talking, and it's all over if he lives. Yeah, which I guess I don't really understand why, if the shooter knows, then why wouldn't Connor also know? Like, it wouldn't get back to Connor. Again, the same problem I had before. Well, so the reason why is because basically they go straight from when he catches her on the phone to the car, so he doesn't talk to anyone else. Right, but again, it's the same problem where if only the small circle of people know about the hit and the cops were waiting for them, someone must have talked. No, it's not about the hit that she's worried about. She's worried about that he overheard her talking to Declan and giving information on where this is going to happen. Essentially confirm it if Brendan survives and lives to tell the tale. I mean, there is some suspicion on her at this point, but all the suspicion will fall on her if Brendan survives and says that, I overheard Colette talking on the phone. Yep, that's right. Right before. I mean, they're not that dumb. Kevin comes over to see her and says, again, we need to talk. Mm-hmm. So they drive to some sort of secure buildings, a safe house. Kevin and Colette are talking, asked when she first heard about the operation. Kevin's suspicious of when she disappeared in London after the failed bombing. So this was frustrating, too, because Colette gets caught in a lie easily. Uh-huh. Do you remember this? Because Kevin asked, when did you first hear about it? She said, in the car. And there were more people who talked to her about it the first time she heard about it who could prove her wrong, which they do. But despite this, Kevin doesn't immediately do anything, which is weird. No, he's also very suspicious already because she asks about when the cops took her from her house. And she says that someone from London questioned her. His name was Jenkins, but then slips up and calls him Mac. Yep. And he's like, well, which is it? Is it Jenkins or Mac? It was Mac Jenkins. Yeah, that was plausible. And he says, you were also back out of prison really easily. Mm-hmm. What's up with that? Yeah. And he never really gives a good explanation for why. No. He just lets her go. I guess so the movie can happen. Yeah.
Did you also like the serial killer plastic in the next row?
Yeah.
Like it was an episode of Dexter.
But he said, don't leave Belfast. Don't leave town.
That's right. You're red lighted.
So you see Mac looking for Brendan in the hospital, but apparently he's already dead.
He has a brief appearance with another British cop who's from Band of Brothers, by the way. I had the Leonardo DiCaprio meme where I pointed at him. He's one of the replacements along with James McAvoy.
Okay. But yeah, so Colette overhears Jerry and Connor talking, and apparently Kevin wants to talk to Colette again. They're saying that Kevin wants to talk to Colette again, and that Brendan's dead, so she knows all this.
Yeah, and she freaks out. She's like, I want him dead. He's got to be dead. He's got to be dead.
Mm-hmm.
And they never explain why he dies. I think it's implied that the British kill him. Right?
It's unclear. It's plausible either way.
Okay.
I mean, because they said they already said he's touch and go, so he could have just died of natural causes. Well, not natural. Died of his injuries, rather.
Yeah. This is convenient. Mighty convenient.
Mac meets Colette in a car in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
Colette wants to know if he killed Brendan. No, I didn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells Mac that Kevin knows, but Mac thinks that Kevin is bluffing. It's his job to, make you sweat.
That's right. I like when he says it's his job to make you think that he knows.
Yeah. So Colette goes back home and moves her hiding place for emergency pager. She moves it from the bottom of her underwear drawer to sticking it up inside one of her drawers.
That's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or her nightstand, yeah. So we have Brendan's funeral, and there's riot police right outside there.
Another great part of the movie. This is the second best part. I felt like it was pretty hardcore for Colette to be offering condolences to the family when it's basically her fault.
Right.
100% of her fault that the guy died.
Yeah, and apparently the police are there to make sure that Brendan isn't buried as a soldier, is what they say.
Well, yeah, so I don't claim to know a lot about this, but my understanding is that funerals were used to whip people up into a frenzy.
Like in the Molly Maguires.
Yeah, that's right. So I guess things haven't changed that much. I like the confrontation with Littlefinger and the head of the cops where he's like, you have no right to be here. Oh, yeah? Well, we're keeping to the promise. Oh, yeah? Well, we're keeping to the promise.
Mm-hmm. So, and you see there's guns that are passed around people as they're bringing the body out. And Liam Hughes, is that a real person?
Not to my knowledge.
Oh, it seems like, I don't know, the older IRA guy.
Mm-hmm. Boy, that actor is a perfect choice for an older IRA guy.
Right? That's what I was like, is that a real sounds like a real person. So but I couldn't find anything. A Connor and who's the other guy who puts on the mask? Is it actually Jerry?
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Pull on masks and give him not quite a 21 gun salute, but I guess 12 gun salute because they fire all the rounds in their revolvers.
Yeah, and then everyone goes and apparently starts yelling at the cops. It's not really clear what's happening.
And leave the body there.
That's right.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. I had to rewatch. Whoa. Oh, they just literally even though this is supposed to be his funeral, they just left the body. Obviously, it's still in the coffin, but they just left it there in the street.
Yeah, and it's on a couple of risers. It's not like they just left it behind on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I mean, essentially they did, though.
Yeah. Really interesting part.
Yeah. So later at the bar, seemingly they're having the Irish wake after. Colette enters, and it's intercut with, we see Kevin at her house, searching her room.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry and Connor are in the back with Liam, and Jerry is upset about these peace talks, and he's basically told to go jog off.
That's right. Again, I thought the movie was going to go a different direction than it ended up doing. I thought he was going to make a splinter group or something, but this movie isn't that big. It's pretty small, actually.
No. So Kevin enters the bar, talks with Colette, gives her some money to buy a football for her son's birthday.
Right. But he's still suspicious of her. He makes that clear.
So Mac is looking up Henderson. Who is Henderson? Is that Brendan?
That was the guy that Brendan was going to kill.
That's who that. Okay.
Yeah.
So looking up the report, but the report has been classified. So he goes over to Gillian Anderson's house.
Yeah,
on the
sees
weekend.
her at home.
Yeah. And he very quickly figures out what's going on. Because Gillian Anderson has another person on the inside, another tout.
That's right. Again, interesting.
Yeah?
So it was very interesting. What are they going to do? Because she says, let's burn Colette to protect the spy.
Right.
And Mac, of course, doesn't like that.
Yeah. Colette's basically just fresh meat to dangle as bait to protect their real intel source.
Yeah. Do you also like the part where she said, I don't want to spend the money to protect her?
Because Mac wants to pull her out, and Gillian Anderson says no. It's like, that's, $1 million to set her, take her out, new passports, new names. No, not worth it. Not worth it for intel on just one hit.
Yeah. Once again, the biggest problem is budget cuts.
Yeah. So we go to Colette's son's birthday. He gets a new bike, and he's riding it. And the tension here, I was waiting for something to happen to this kid.
Nope, nothing happened. As it turned out.
I mean, the movie primed us with, killing her little brother. So I had braced myself that something was going to happen to the kid.
Nope.
And this is where, in my notes, I'm like, is Jerry Littlefinger?
Is there you figured it out?
This is when I figured it out. When he's standing outside the door. Wait a minute. I know this guy.
He was on the plane in Dark Knight Rises, too.
I was about to mention
among
that, too.
other places.
Yeah. So Mac asks for a favor from a colleague. He wants to know about the mole in Jerry McFay's outfit. And he says he knows it's someone close. And his colleague is like, we don't know who it is. They're going to listen to our old friend Kevin about what his suspicions are.
It seems like Kevin really knows what's going on.
Yeah. So Colette is meeting Mac, but before she goes, her mom tries to stop her and is demands what do you need to go downtown for? No one needs to go downtown.
Yeah, sorry, Mom. She's on kid duty all the time. I have to go do some spying.
So she goes to the rendezvous point, and Colette's worried about her life. Mac says he won't let her die, and then she kisses him.
Yes, thoughts, Christian, thoughts.
I think she doesn't actually feel anything. I think she's just trying to use it to get her on his get.
So a femme fatale?
Sure.
How sexist. No,
I think she's using everything she has at her resources to just try to make sure that she survives.
And you don't think he was coming on to her based on Gillian Anderson's earlier comment about...
No, I mean, there was that, but he, if you watch him, he's not giving into it. I mean, he stops it after a while, but he doesn't usually if it's that kind of thing, you have one person kissing and the other will join in, and he's just sort of stone-faced there as she's trying to kiss him.
Okay, fair enough. This plotline doesn't go anywhere after this part. It never comes up again.
Them? No,
yeah.
Well, in her mind, because right after she kisses him, that's when he says he wants to take her out of the game. So in her mind, it was successful, and that was all she needed to do.
Yeah, it just pushed him over the edge to get her out.
He says, but it's not me. It's just me doing this, not the entire organization. They've got their own agenda, and I can take your son too, but nothing else. 3 o'clock on Monday.
That's right.
So Kevin and Jerry are talking about the mole or their tout. Jerry is hesitant, but Kevin says, "I need to act now." So he's like, "Okay, fine." And I like this part. Mac is making a call, asking if they have a card copy in the library of the Henderson case yet, because, he's got locked out, so maybe if there's a hard copy. And he's, all right, I'm just looking for the agent code. Apparently there are 2 agent codes on this. Obviously one of them is Colette, but the other is codenamed Shadow Dancer, which is where we get the title of the film, finally.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
So he finds the account number, goes into the library to find the file, and sees that there are payments going back to 1982 for £250.
Who says spy work is all excitement?
I don't know. This was exciting to me. And then my wheels are spinning. Wait, 82? Who could that be? How old is Jerry? So my mind went to Jerry or Connor. I didn't even cross the mother. That didn't even occur to me.
Ooh, they got you again.
Yeah. Did you have any idea or suspicions?
No, but I'm not the kind of person that tries to figure movies out while I'm watching them. I just kind of let them happen, like a tidal wave. Sploosh.
But yeah, so Connor is getting tortured by Kevin, being dunked into water. Kevin asks when he told Colette about the attack. Did you get annoyed with this because he doesn't say anything?
No, and I'll tell you why.
All right.
Because I thought he was the mole. And he was like, they figured it out, so they might as well just kill me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's not the case, and I don't know why you didn't say anything.
because even if it was his sister, it's still his sister, so he's trying to protect his sister.
Yeah.
Maybe he figured it out.
That makes sense.
Because of the two brothers, he seems to be the one that's closer to her.
Yeah, I completely agree about that.
Jerry is walking around outside nervously. So Mac goes to talk to to his other colleague again, the one who told him about who he had seen in person, and says he wants to look at their records of anyone who was questioned around 82 in April. Sees it and sees that the highlights of, because there's no names in there obviously, but they do have transcripts of the interview, and it says you're a mother and something's like, and that's when it clicks.
Mm-hmm. She said something only Ma could say.
Yeah.
Right.
At this point, back in the torture room, Connor is being held at gunpoint, and he's like, all right, go ahead, do it. Right. And then they're like, you're not the one we're looking for, and let him go.
But again, there's no explanation for how Kevin comes to that conclusion. He just knows somehow.
Mac calls the mom and says they're coming for Colette, and then they recruited Colette to protect the mom.
So Mac recruited Colette to protect the mom.
On Gillian Anderson's advice.
Right, before the movie started.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
It was her idea. They bring it up twice that it was Gillian Anderson's idea. So the mom puts on her coat and watches Kevin pull up and goes into his car. And we see Colette walking home, and she's talking as if her mom's there, but realizes quickly that her mom's not there.
That's right.
And that's when we see Gillian Anderson and Mac find the mom's body in a field, dead.
Yeah, like the end of 7. Yikes.
So we see Colette walking somewhere. Mac is waiting for her. This is the day of the rendezvous. Now he thinks he sees her, but it's someone else who's walking a dog. That person passes by a couple times, actually.
Right.
With a dog. Do you think they planted the bomb?
I hadn't thought about it. It's possible, if not probable, yeah.
But yeah, so his phone rings. He can hear it in the car. So he goes in the car, and it blows up.
Yep.
And he's dead.
Classic IRA. When I watch IRA movies, I used to be in the habit of every time someone gets into a car, you expect it to blow up. But
yeah. So Colette goes to pick up her son from school, says that they're going to go on a trip. Connor is in the front driving, and he's like, it's done, which means Mac's dead. And they need to get going. And so they drive off. Who knows where.
Yep, and then the end of the movie is just her staring out the window for probably about 5 minutes. Do you think the idea is going through feelings, changing feelings?
Well, all the different emotions she's going through, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the question, Christian. Does this twist, which is a great twist, that she's a triple agent, does it hold up? Does it all hang together?
Which twist? The mother or her?
Yeah, there's a couple of twists.
Yeah.
So I think the mother twist hangs together.
Yes, mostly. I think so too.
Okay, so maybe this is being a little too complimentary of the movie, but my read, I think the writers were trying to get us to believe that Colette knew what she was doing the whole time, that she was a triple agent.
I don't know if I believe that.
Well,
I don't know. I don't see that necessarily.
Well, if she's not, then they must have turned her at some point, or she changed her mind.
I don't think so. I think she's playing her own game.
Well, obviously not by herself, because she had her boys help her.
She had her brother. That's it.
Well, that was all we saw.
I feel like if the movie was going to tell us that she had given information to Kevin or anything else, they would have told us that. I don't necessarily see that. I see it as she is done playing all these games, and so is Connor, because he just got tortured by Kevin. So it was just the two of them and maybe the dog walker working to get so that no one who knew about her would be
conspiring to kill their own mother.
Well, not the mother. No, the mother, I think the mother gave herself up because she didn't want Colette to die. So that was separate.
It was separate. Okay.
Yeah. I think the mother made that choice herself. No, that wasn't them.
Okay.
That was Mac calling and saying, and so she felt guilty about that and realized that they were going to come for Colette, so she made that choice.
Right, but so if the mother got herself killed to protect Colette, then why did Colette kill Mac? There's no reason to.
Because Mac got her mother killed.
No, he didn't. She gave herself up.
But if she had not said anything, if Mac hadn't made that call, she would not have done it. if that's supposed to be the twist, that she's been playing both sides of being a triple agent this whole time, it was not communicated to me in the film, and I did not get that impression at all.
Okay.
What I got was at the end that she was done with playing the game and didn't want Mac holding over her head. Here's why you kill Mac. Because even if he was trying to get her out, he still knows. And he could still make her life miserable.
Right.
So we eliminate anyone who might know. On the IRA side, they think it's done and dusted because the mom was the mole the whole time. They didn't know that there was 2 moles.
Okay, interesting.
And on Mac's side, it's Mac. She only knows Mac who she's dealing with, and Mac knows how to contact her. But everyone, so she's like, if I get rid of them, then I can be free and clear, and maybe I'll go move to Scotland or somewhere. I don't know.
So then Domhnall Gleeson was okay that she got Brendan killed, I guess.
Seemingly,
maybe he doesn't know about it.
Maybe he doesn't know about it. Maybe he doesn't care because that's like we said, he's the brother that she's definitely closer to.
Right. Okay.
Interesting. He's the one who was upset about her having to see Kevin because he knows what Kevin can do, and then he got to experience what Kevin can do. So I don't see it as a triple H. That's why I wanted to put a pin in that later. I don't see it.
See, okay, here's my interpretation: that the IRA knew there was a mole, so they sent Colette in to find the other mole.
I don't see that at all.
So she was playing Mac the whole time.
Nah.
I like my interpretation. It's more fun, but it doesn't hold together. Like, why would she hide the pager from Kevin if he knew about it?
Yeah,
or hide the pager
it doesn't
from
hold together, which is why I don't think that's what the filmmakers were trying to say.
Okay. Anyway, anything else? Anything else to say about the movie?
Let's go through the rest of our categories.
Spy fact versus spy fiction.
Okay, so next we have our spy fact versus fiction. Christian, do you have anything?
I don't, so you can go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the beginning where she just drops the purse in the middle of the London Tube.
Mm-hmm.
So this reminded me of when I lived in Jerusalem. They taught us about a term called Hefetz Hashud, which literally means a suspicious object. Mm-hmm. Everyone in Israel is taught to always be on the lookout for anything that's like a backpack that is just sitting on the side of a street. You should call the police if you see that. And I'm still in that mode a little bit. When I'm walking along and I see a bag at a bus stop or something, I don't call the police. I'm not that bad. But it does set me off. Something else, I have the Armalite rifle in Irish Republican history. Because there's a part when she's looking at the files, it says Armalite rifle, IRA weapon. Mm-hmm. So it's by a guy named Liam A. Ryan, updated September 7th, 2021. The Armalite rifle, a civilian version of the U.S. military's M16 assault rifle, became synonymous with Irish republicanism from 1970 onwards. It was famously incorporated into the twin-track Armalite and ballot box strategy. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So I'm not going to go into that right now. It's basically a referral to they're going to try to get their rights both via voting and via violence.
Right. Yeah, I got the idea. I'd never heard that term. Interesting. Yeah.
The late Brendan Hughes is credited with introducing the Armalite rifle into Irish Republican arsenals. He saw a brochure for it. Isn't it America great? Instantly recognized it would be a weapon useful. He said, it folded, it could be dumped in water, and we were fascinated by the weapon. The AR-15 came first, and the AR-18. We all fell in love with this weapon, which is funny because I seem to remember the M16 was not very well thought of in the Vietnam War because it would jam a lot, and it wasn't very reliable. The band I like called the Wolf Tones, I think I told you about them. They were like, we love the IRA. I think I told you about them in the Michael Collins Spy Guys episode. They have a song, and they're not the only ones, but they covered them among other people, called My Little Armalite or Me Little Armalite, which praises the Armalite AR-18 rifle that was widely used. And then, fortunately, no one ever heard of the AR-15 again after that. There's a part where they say the target, Henderson, he leaves his house at 7:30 a.m. every day. Do you remember that part?
No, but go on.
Okay, well, they say that in dialogue. And in the book, Patriot Games, I don't remember the movie Patriot Games, but in the book, when Jack Ryan is being targeted by the IRA, one of the things they tell him is change your route when you go to and from work.
Right.
Don't leave at the same
I think that is in the movie too.
Oh, okay.
I think so. I don't know. Or at least they talk about all of your, your routines of habit or what will get you.
That's right. And they say that's the best way to avoid being killed by terrorists, actually. There's a part where Colleen said she's red lighted. There was no explanation I could find for that on the internet.
Right.
I looked up why the word tout means spy. So the American definition of tout means brag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But in British English, it says to spy out information about.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a sign in the bar that said no singing allowed.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I Googled that. Again, there was no explanation. I assume they put that up because it's a funeral and you don't sing at funerals. And then finally, they say, did you guys put a hit out on the peeler? Why do they call British cops peelers? Well, it is from, according to, oh gosh, I don't know the source for this. Sorry, I think it was just Google. It denotes a police officer and was originally a nickname for a member of the Peace Preservation Force, established in 1814 by Robert Peel during his term as Chief Secretary of Ireland, 1812 to 1818.
Okay.
It was first used in the proceedings of a debate in the House of Commons in 1816. And that is what I have for Spy Fact versus Fiction.
Favorite quotes.
All right, shall we move into our favorite quotes?
Sure. Why don't you go first? I don't have that many. I have a few.
I have one, actually.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
Oh. Well, it's a twofer. I think it's Kevin and Colette. Kevin says, a volunteer is never off duty. And Colette says, neither is a mammy.
Yeah. I had the beginning of that. That's one of my favorites.
That's what I've got. What do you got?
I did like when Gillian Anderson, we're all on the same side, because she said it with such a insincere manner. I like the part where they're having the argument about tactics and somebody says, the leadership decides, Jerry. The leadership decides. And is that it? Yeah, that's it. It's not a very quotable movie, I guess.
No. I mean, it's very intense, very good at that, but not so many quotable lines.
Ratings.
Now it is time for our ratings on a scale of 1 to 10 martinis. 1 being even better than Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, and 1 being Avengers 1998. How would we rate Shadow Dancer? Christian, I guess I can go first.
Sure, okay.
So, I didn't love the movie. The twists at the end are good, I think. And there are pieces of tension that are also good, but it is kind of slow. And there's not enough Gillian Anderson. So it's okay. I don't think sometimes with these Spy Guys movies, I want to tell people about them. Not this one. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 martinis. It's fine.
Okay. All right. See, I had a bet. I mean, maybe it's just because in comparison to Section 31, this was outstanding. It started slow. It was a slow burn. But by just halfway through, I'm like, I am very invested in what's going to happen here.
All right.
I did not see the twist coming, so I was pleasantly surprised by it. And also, I appreciate it's under 2 hours.
Yeah, the fact that it's short is nice.
Yeah. So I'm going to give this 7 out of 10 martinis. It's not spectacular, but it's a solid movie.
I think you give every movie a 7 out of 10. I don't mean to call you out.
No, I gave Section 31 2.5.
Right.
I gave Goldfinger 9. I vary. I do give a lot of 7s if I think it's just a solid movie that that I think people, if they're interested, should watch. But I do vary. Like, I'm looking at things like
okay. No need to get defensive.
No, we talked about last episode. I gave Hudson Hawk a 2, although like I said, that one maybe was a little harsh.
Yeah, well, we'll have to talk about that some other time.
So, I would just say, if you are interested in that Troubles era, and you're looking for just a movie, not necessarily one that's comprehensive, but that gives a flavor of the time, it's a good movie.
Good.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Okay. All right, well, thank you all for joining us. You can find us on social media at The Spy-Fi Guys on Facebook, Blue Sky, YouTube, and Instagram, and our merch store at redbubble.com. Until next time, I'm Christian.
And I'm Zach.
And we are the Spy-Fi Guys, signing off.
Thank you for listening to the Spy-Fi Guys. If you enjoyed our podcast, please be sure to give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. The theme song from this podcast is Mistake the Getaway by Kevin MacLeod from Incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. Films, books, and television shows reviewed by our podcast are the intellectual property of their respective copyright holders, and no infringement is intended.
This is a personal podcast. Any views, statements, or opinions expressed in this podcast are personal and belong solely to the participants. They do not represent those of people, institutions, or organizations that the participants may or may not be associated with in a professional or personal capacity unless explicitly stated. Any views or opinions are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, or individual.
You can find our podcast on social media at The Spy-Fi Guys on Facebook, Blue Sky, YouTube, and Instagram.